Hello? Sorry, I don't understand. Okay, next time. Okay, bye-bye. Two facts. English is the business language of the world, and there are only 360 millions of people who speak English as the first language. Based on these two statements, there's a fair chance that English is not your mother tongue and you work in an English-speaking workplace. I mean, it's already a challenge to deal with the cultural difference, and being forced to speak a non-native language make it even worse. As a non-native speaker myself, I used to envy of those who speak English as their first language. Why is this so unfair? Why do I have to learn a new language so that we can communicate? Of course, it's great to become bilingual because it opens up more doors of opportunities. But that's not what I'm going to discuss here. I mean, it could take years to learn a new language, and it could take decades to become really fluent at it. So in the business world, not everyone will have high proficiency in English. As a result, they have a hard time blending in the English-speaking workplace. Now, I want to tell you that I'm not an English expert, so I'm not going to give you any English advice here. Even I moved to New Zealand at the age of 14, you probably still notice I don't speak perfect English. I still make mistakes from time to time, and I still have a little bit of accent. And of course, there are always times that I struggle to find the right phrase to use. But hey, I'm still doing pretty well. I can confirm that non-native speaker can also perform great. And in this video, I'm going to share a few tips on how you can overcome the language barrier. Hello everyone, my name is Keith So and I create content about career empowerment for young professionals. If you find this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. So my first tip for you is always use plain language. We tend to make things unnecessarily complicated. It's quite tempted to use jargons, proverbs, idioms, which makes it sound more intelligent or professional. And I think that's a misconception here. You only need plain English to convey professionalism. What's crucial in a business communication is getting both yourself and the party you talk to on the same page. If you really want to impress, aim to be concise and keep everything to the basic. It works a lot better than trying to sound smart. You probably know this already, but the best way to learn a language fast is to immerse yourself in a foreign language speaking environment. If you're working in an English speaking office, then you are already in that position. But it still requires a lot of courage to step out of your comfort zone and speak up. Throughout the course, you will make mistakes. It could be grammatical, it could be pronunciation. Some people might even dislike your accent. And of course, you might feel nervous as you speak because you're worried if you're making sense or not. But really, you have to get rid of these negative thoughts. It's part of the progress. Remember, you are an expert in another language, and if those native speakers are in your shoes, they will struggle too. And believe it or not, people are a lot more considerate or patient than you think. I don't think I've been teased because of bad English when I first came to the country. But if they laugh at you, it is them being immature, not you. During a conversation, you might come across some words that you haven't heard of before, or they could be speaking a bit too fast and you don't know what they're talking about. The thing is, you might be reluctant to ask for clarification because you don't want to look like a fool. I mean, if there's something that you really don't understand, you must ask for clarification. I'd rather have other people tease me for looking stupid than pretending I know it all and get myself into trouble later on. Well, you never know, perhaps your question could help them rethink and they can see flaws in their proposal as well. So always don't let ego get into your way. Now, I want you to imagine one scenario. Say you are a non-native speaker and you need to make a phone call to a client overseas. During the conversation, you find out that your client is a native speaker as well, and you two can only communicate in English because that's the common language that you two both know. You probably won't be too confident that you can understand everything they said, and at the same time you probably worry that if you have conveyed your idea to them. I have been there. That is very painful. So to begin with, you two should really speak slowly and ask for clarification from time to time. And another tip for you is always write up a follow-up email to summarize what has been discussed in the call that you have just made. This is so important. Getting things written will get yourself covered, and it's much easier for both parties to find out if there are any misunderstanding. And of course, they will appreciate you for taking the initiative of getting this done. We all know English is hard to learn, and it's even more challenging to use it on a day-to-day basis. But if you want to thrive in your career or move to another cities for better opportunities, then you really have to overcome the language barrier. It could be intimidating, but don't lose hope. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Remember, just use plain English to convey the idea, and if you really can't complete a full sentence, try to speak word by word. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because it's the part of the learning progress. If someone laughs at you, then it's their problem. It's them being not professional, not you. Another thing is you should always ask for clarification so that there are no confusions and misunderstanding between you two. And finally, try to get everything in written form if possible, because that's the best way to make everything clear. And this is how I overcome the language barrier in the office. So I hope you find this helpful. If you like this, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Signing off.